Hey guys, Rob's Workbench here. I know it's been a while since I made a video. Lots of things have been going on in life that has prevented me from working here in the shop, but we're back to it, at least for now, until the winter comes. I'm about to say the summer. Summer is over, which is crazy. Fall is right around the corner. But we still definitely have a few more weeks left of shop time, and this bad boy just came into the shop. This is the brandy new RG5120 in what I believe they call Frozen Ocean finish, which is just absolutely stunning. Just kind of give you guys an idea here of what this looks like. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I believe it's an ash top with mahogany body with the Fishmans in it, and it has this blue stained finish. Then in the clear, it has this crazy, like frozen ice look to it. I don't know how they did that. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not a paint guy, so I don't know. I don't know how this effect is achieved, but it is really super rad. There's definitely like some sort of a flake in there. I don't know if they spray it and then dab it with like a foil and then spray over that. And give this look, because it's not everywhere has that. Yeah, because you can see not everywhere has that sparkle finish to it. So I don't know how they do that. But it's definitely super cool. As you can see, it's got the standard. This is I believe is the Fishman voicing. Has a 3-way, not a 5-way, which is interesting for HH. Yeah, right, for the two humbuckers. But yeah, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. You can see it has the kind of like the curly maple. No, I'm sorry, not curly maple. What's that curly maple? Bird's eye maple fretboard with the white binding and the really cool little tiny dots there. Very reminiscent of the 3120. All right, so take a good look there. It does have the matching headstock finish as well. Now, this is one of 6 that have come into the United States for now, for the first run. That is just disappointing. I mean, 6 really, Ibanez. I mean, that really, you could have at least done 12. You could have done a nice dozen, all right? 12 to 15 maybe. They all sold out like instantly. I still know people that are still waiting for the next run. So they are very popular. They are very expensive. This is probably the most expensive Prestige that I can think of. I'd have to go back and look at what the uppercut was, the super limited run 7-string uppercut that we had. That might have been around the same price as this. This is $2,500, guys. That just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I believe the 5320 was, I want to say it was like $21.99 or $22.99. So this is still a couple $100 more than its brother, right? I mean, there's not a lot of difference between this and the other one versus other than the Fishman pickups and the maple, right? Because the other one I believe is ebony. But it's the same guitar at the end of the day, realistically. As far as like their production, maybe the Fishmans were more expensive, and that's why. But I'm sure they got a huge discount. They probably ordered 1,000 of these things, because obviously they go in the right-handed ones as well. So yeah, it's for $2,500. It really shocked me what I found with this guitar. Now, there's nothing wrong with the guitar. There's no fatal flaws or anything that it needs to go back because it's bad or anything like that. But from the factory, there was just a lot of disappointing things with this guitar that I need to address here on the bench, which is why it's here on the bench, right? And the other two that I know of, I believe, are going to have the same exact issue. Well, I know one of them definitely has the exact same issues. I don't know about the other, because the other one's right now at their tech. But I'm sure he's going to discover the same exact thing. And the biggest thing, two big things with this, right? is the neck pocket. The neck pocket in these, for some odd reason, is cut super, super, super deep. I'm going to have to shim this neck. I know the other one that I know of had to have their neck shimmed quite significantly. I mean, we're talking like a 0.5 millimeter plus of shimming, because what's happening here is the bridge. Well, we have too high of a of action, right? We're over 2 millimeters from the factory, which is terrible. I'm sorry. That's for a $2,500 guitar. This thing should have been set up perfectly. You know, some might want to argue with me on that one, but $2,500, no, that is definitely unacceptable. Should have been set up fantastic. Now it is Lefty, so of course, I'm sure they were at the factory like, oh, it's Lefty, nobody wants to touch it. It's good enough. Put it in the box and send it, right? More than likely, that's what happens. They just no techs at the factory want to touch these. I'm going to just assume that at this point. I found that the lockers were undone. They were not locked down. This thing was pretty much decked, slammed all the way. It still is low, right? So if you look here, the knife edge right there, right? It's going to totally not focus, right? I like that sitting. I like the bottom of that sitting level with the body. It's too low right now. It's about halfway down. Now what happens is, and it's higher. I've already lifted it. You know, that's why it's at 2 millimeters plus right now at the 12th fret. But what happens is when you lower these down too much, the pullback will just stop. You'll get no pullback on these whatsoever. So if you're a trem user, and I know that the owner of this guitar loves using his trem, you know, if you want to do any sort of wacky trem stuff, if you have these slammed, it's just going to hit in the back, and you're only going to get maybe one step, if that, pull up, and it's just going to stop right on the block. So it has to sit up in order to get really good full floating function with this. So unfortunately, what happens is now I'm going to have to shim this neck, which it looks pretty level from here. So it definitely has not been shimmed. I would not be surprised when I open this thing up and it has no shims. It's gonna need it. Now, yeah, I guess in the end, it's probably better that the pocket was cut deeper than shallower, because at least you can shim it, right? So at least you have that ability to do it, which again, it's not a fatal flaw. You can actually just fix the problem. It's not that big of a deal. But again, $2,500. As nobody really wanted to check this stuff at the factory. I don't know how the righties are. If you own a righty version of this guitar, let me know. I'm very disappointed with Ibanez. So that's step one. There's no like finish flaws or anything like that that's wrong with the guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. The other big thing is the fret ends. Let's take a quick look at these fret ends. Would you expect this on a $2,500 guitar? We'll just kind of go down. I mean, really, Ibanez, did we even try to polish these at all? I mean, that one looks like they did a little bit of polishing on it, but for the most part, they look like they were just ran over and just chopped off. I mean, look at that. Come on, Ibanez. Come on. If I was Glenn Fricker, I'd probably be screaming right now. I don't have a sock to do the sock test on this. Yeah, they're. I mean, trust me, I've had way worse, but they're sharp. You can feel them. Playable, yeah. They're not gonna shred your hand, but they're. See, look at that right now. Yeah, I mean they're sharp. So I'm gonna have, when I take this neck off to shim it, I'll be polishing the ends. Now this is nothing new when it comes to Ibanez and maple necks, maple fretboards. They claim that they have a Prestige fret end treatment. That's complete bullshit. And this is something that I know even Rich Harris over at Ibanez Rules has found years ago, and I've discovered even with like the 652s with the maple boards, they don't. There's no fret end treatment with this. this. No one's took time to polish these ends. I'm going to have to do that, right? Now, obviously, I'm getting paid to do the work, so do I want to argue like, oh no, I definitely want to do it, but you shouldn't have to get this on a $2,500 guitar. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable, Ibanez. Come on. Get your shit together. Put all your shit, put it in a bag, get it to fucking together, okay? Seriously. Now, the other thing, too, is that I have about 4 or 5 high spots on these frets. I already rocked the neck a little bit, even with the strings on it, just to preliminarily test to see where I'm at. Now, it doesn't mean that it was leveled incorrectly and that I have to level them or anything like that. More than likely, they have lifted, so I'm going to have to hammer them back down. Now, yeah, some of that can just be attributed to travel. Yeah, I went from Japan to the United States. It's 3,000 plus miles probably. So it's gone through different atmospheres and pressures through planes and shipping and da-da-da. And, it can happen. So it's not the end of the world, right? I can bang them down. I got my hammers. I got my presses. We'll press it down. We'll get them right back to where they are. And I didn't really notice any buzzing or anything like that at the 2 millimeter mark. I mean, look at that. Look at the height on that. Look at that. Come on, Ibanez. You shouldn't have to send a brand new guitar that costs $2,500 to a technician. I think that's kind of where I'm at with these. And, this is coming from somebody that gets paid to do the work. Like, I want to do the work. I want to have the work, but guitars that deserve it, that have been played and, that require their yearly maintenances and stuff like that, will develop these problems over time. Absolutely understandable. Guitars that are, sub 15, sub 1,000, I'm going to expect shittier fretwork, right? This is not $2,500 fretwork. Okay, guys? I mean, come on, Ibanez. Come on. Really? Sorry, all right, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, and I will start sounding like Glenn Fricker here. It's just unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable for a $2,500 brand new out of the case guitar. Like this guitar, I think my client only got it a couple weeks ago when they first hit. But other than that, everything is great about this guitar. Once I address all these issues, there'll be no problems with it. It's going to play amazing. It's going to play great. It's going to play like the Lamborghini of a guitar that it should play like, and that's the goal at this point, right? We're going to get that action down to where it needs to be, down to like about 1 millimeter. I think the 5320, when I had that in the shop, definitely did not have the fret end issues that this had. I did not have to polish the shit out of those fret ends, which I'm going to have to do with this one. I'm going to have to bust out the file probably with this and just give them a little bit of a round over. Again, I'm not expecting, semi spherical, fret ends like, J custom level. It's a Prestige. It's not supposed to have that, right? But for $2,500, and I know some of that pricing, guitars have gone up, all the tariff bullshit, all that stuff. I get it. But still, guys, come on. Even the 652s that were, I think, MSRP somewhere around the $1,500-$1,600 mark, $1,700 mark, depending on which one, even $1,000 less, and they were better. They out of the box than this. And this is not, like I said, this is not a one-off. One of the other one that I know of had the same exact issue. I've talked to him extensively about it, and everything that I'm dealing with, he dealt with as well when he set up that one. So Ibanez, come on, get your shit together. This is not what a $2,500 guitar should be out of the box. It's a beautiful guitar. I don't want to discourage anybody from buying one of these, but not everybody has access to a tech. Not everybody wants to spend another, $50 to $100, at a technician to fix problems that shouldn't have existed in the first place. It is a gorgeous guitar, and it's going to be amazing once I've gone through it. But yeah, so, if this was to get a school grade, A plus to an F, this is going to be in like the C minus range out of the box, C minus probably. But everything else is flawless on this guitar. You know, everything else is what I expect it to be. You know, the neck feels amazing, the body is beautiful, the finish is beautiful, no flaws like that, or no flaws or anything like that. But yeah, the setup work and the finish work on like the front ends are just garbage, straight garbage. But we will get that all in a row, no problemo. Fishman's, for me, I don't know. I'm a passive guy, and that's to taste. Some people love these, some people hate them. I've had, EMG 81s, 85s, 89s, EMG S's, 707s, EMG X's, Fishman's I played on before. I'm just not an active guy. Again, that's a personal taste at this point. I just love, a good old set of DiMarzios. But hey, each to their own. If you love them, you love them. I can't argue that. It has nothing to do with the guitar itself. At the end of the day, you could easily put DiMarzios in this, But anywho, sorry for the ranting. Again, it is an absolutely stunning guitar. Let me see if I can hold this phone. Show you the back of this thing. Look at the grain on this thing. Yeah, there's nothing that I want to point out. Wow, that is just gorgeous. What a beautiful. Look, is this? I'm pretty sure this is mahogany. That is one of the wildest looking woods. I mean, just stunning. Beautiful, 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 beautiful back of the wood. I mean, when I flipped this thing, I was like, wow. That has to be one of the most beautiful body woods I've seen. I mean, look at the grain on that, right? Look at that. Oh yeah, it's gonna be all like fuzzy. I mean, that is just bonkers. I would almost wish that this didn't have a top on it, and this was like the top of the guitar. I mean, that is just gorgeous. All right, guys. Take care.